and it's been stated very clearly here, nobody is against the process. I think it's important that the people do have their opportunity to be able to say exactly how they stand and how they feel. Now, to clear up what happened at the Democratic County Convention, I went there because I do enjoy and participate in the process, and went in the hopes of becoming a delegate and going to the state convention. As I was there, Chairman Torres gave me the opportunity to say a few words, and I talked about politics at the national level and the state level, and a lot of the types of campaigns that are being run right now, a lot of the fear-mongering that's happening, and how a lot of people are talking about just how bad things are right now without offering any solutions, transitioning into the movement that's happening right now, and the movement of trying to go to at-large districts and give the mayor more power. And as I was walking out, several people stopped me and asked me to stay because they were going to introduce a resolution on the floor. And I thought it was important to let them use that platform to voice their opinion and the opinion of the 100 people that were sitting there. Now, I realize that here, if you were to take a sample here from the sounds of it, it sounds like we have a lot of people that are in favor of at-large. If you go to the room that was over there, you had everybody that was there that is not in favor of at-large. If you talk to the people that I run into, I get the feeling that the majority is against the idea of an at-large system. And the important part to remember is, and the father that said a few words at the Democratic Convention hit the nail on the head. When he started his statements, he said that the Democratic Party can be summarized in one word, and that's empathy. The Democratic Party empathize with people that do not have a vote, the people that need representation, the people that are in need of that extra help to be able to move forward. And this system would do the exact opposite. This would create or disenfranchise a large majority of our community. Like Mr. Rocha said, if you take District 5 and District 6, you're going to have at least 16,000 people come out and vote. If you get the rest of the 6 districts and combine them together, you're looking at about 10,000 votes. So are the people, the majority of the people that are economically disadvantaged in the other 6 districts, going to have their real say in who's going to be representing them? What would end up happening is they have their token, if you will, council members that are going to be representing them. Then you're going to have the 2 council members in the north, and then you're going to have 4 at-large council members that are going to be more than likely coming out of the north. And it's important that we understand that this is about representing people, not you people that get off of work at 5 o'clock and come out here and get in your nice car, most of you, and be able to voice your opinion. It's the people. And it's not funny. I'm sure you think it's funny, but it's not funny because there's people out there that are struggling to make ends meet and that count on us to make sure that we're making the right decisions for them. And they have the ability. The people down there that Councilmember Gonzalez, Councilmember Rangel, Perez, Bali, the majority of these council members that get to talk to them on a daily basis and understand exactly what it is that they need, what they need to be able to be successful so that they can take that step forward and have realize that American dream. It's important that we stay with the system that we are right now because they do have the voice and they do have the things that they need, and we strive to continue to give them the things that they need. And Mayor, I want to go ahead because there's a couple. I have another item on the supplemental agenda that speaks to this as well that I'd like to go ahead and move up and combine. Essentially, it's on the supplemental agenda, item 4A.
Okay, is that your motion, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second discussion to bring it up? None heard. All those in favor say aye. All those against say no. Motion carries. So now we have 4A in the supplemental.
Yes, you want
so before, go ahead and read it.
Read it. It's a discussion with possible action regarding the rules and powers of the mayor and city council as outlined by the Priority and Procedures Handbook as adopted by the city council by resolution, and more specifically with regards to nominations, appointments of individuals to various boards and committees, and the responsibilities and duties with regard to agendas, and their content and related matters. Now, I know that this movement has been advocating to allow the mayor to approve the agenda before it goes out and to allow the mayor to put items on the agenda. Now, if you go to Priority and Procedures Handbook that has been adopted by this city council, and I put this for multiple reasons, I'll get into these two first, and you go to page 44, it says Development of Notices, Government Code, Chapter 551, Open Meetings Handbook, and you go down to number 2 in H, item H on page 44. It says the city manager is responsible for developing agendas for council's regular, special, and workshop meetings, subject to the approval by the mayor or the mayor's designee. So what you're asking for is on the books, something that's been adopted by the city of Laredo already. You go over to page 53. It says the mayor and council members may each place up to 4 items under council communications for any regular scheduled council meeting. So here we are trying to get power, and I went back and I read this because I heard somebody on the news say that those powers were implied, and I thought that can't be right. They can't be implied. It's got to be somewhere. We didn't just pull these out of the air and say this is a good idea. So I went back and I started reading this, and I thought, well, this is already here. If we have the charter, and if it's not in the charter, then we go to our Priority and Procedures Handbook. So this is an instance where we're trying to make a change. Obviously, we have multiple changes here in the at-large and in the mayor's powers as well, but we have things that are already on the books because somebody didn't bother to read what we already have in our possession right now. And I think it's a lot of badly invested time, if you will. So I want to also, since we're on this item as well, there was an item on the MPO agenda today that, for those of you that don't know, I'm on the MPO, the Metropolitan Planning Organization, and that deals with the money that gets invested to build infrastructure. For me, it's been Loop 20 that I've been advocating for since I've been on there. And they're 2-year terms, and you either get reappointed by the mayor or the mayor appoints somebody else. And I was expecting not to get reappointed for obvious reasons. And I was expecting to see it on the council agenda because, again, according to our Priority Procedures Handbook, the qualifications is city council members shall be nominated by the mayor subject to council confirmation. And it specifically talks about the Metropolitan and Planning Organization on page 13. And then I see the agenda and I don't see it, so I'm assuming it's going to be at the next council meeting. And I get the MPO agenda the next day, and it's appointing Councilmember Algell, nothing against Councilmember Algell, but in my place. And I thought, well, this is the way the rules go. I mean, there's certain rules that we abide by that aren't being followed. And I thought it was important that we don't set the precedence of just picking and choosing which rules that we abide by and which ones we follow, which ones we choose to, and which ones we don't choose to, when we have this guide here with us. So I would like to see that nomination by you, Mayor, at our next council meeting in accordance with our Priority and Procedures Handbook. I think it's important for transparency reasons, obviously, and to make sure that we are following the rules in accordance that have been adopted by the City Council. So that being said, I would like to motion that we we direct staff to create a resolution, not necessarily against the idea of or stopping anybody from getting the required signatures to take this to the voters, but directing them so that the City of Laredo, the City Council, has an official position as to where we stand with the at-large districts and handing more power to the mayor, even though it's already in our books as far as what they're asking for, that we are not in favor of at-large districts, and we are not in favor of having any kind of charter revisions as it pertains to at-large districts and handing more power to the mayor. That's my motion.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor in the second discussion.